He said, hey, this right here that you're talking about, there's a drone above me. I'm like, hold on, wait a minute.
Wait a minute, you're gonna get striked.
The Speaker of the Parliament in Iran was talking about how
Yo, the drone is like tracking you. It's like, yeah, target locked. This mofo has said enough. Let's strike him.
I don't really like that, honestly.
So the title is Short-Term Pain for a Long-Term Gain, they said. And this is by Kid D. I watched some of his videos and they're really insightful. All right, so let's watch this one.
As far as the oil prices, people just need to stop panicking. It's worth it to prevent Iran from having a nuclear weapon. So if I have to pay a little bit more for gas, I'll do that.
You got to pay the price. I mean, in order to have long-term stability.
The disruptions in the global markets are real and may be painful. But the long-term benefits, again, are incalculable.
There may be some sacrifices to be made at the pump on a temporary basis. I'm willing to pay 30% or 30 cents more at the pump to make sure that Iran does not have a nuclear weapon.
To win in life, you got to suffer short-term pain for the long-term gain, or short-term pain for long-term gain.
Freedom is not free. Americans are going to have to make some sacrifices. This is short.
Yo, like the media, they're basically running around with the same narrative. Obviously, like it's like they were given a playbook. Well, let's just keep watching then.
And I'm asking you to just trust the man, okay? Trust the system.
You're right. Gas prices have certainly gone up because of what's going on in the Middle East, but they're going to come down, right? This is a very, very temporary reaction to what is going to ultimately be a short-term conflict. I think the president's been very clear about this, that we're not interested in being in Iran a year down the road, 2 years down the road. We're taking care of business. We're going to be out of there soon, and gas prices are going to come back down.
Short-term pain for a long-term gain. How short is that short-term pain, and how much of a gain is there to be had here, and also who exactly is going to see that gain?
Ooh, preach, brother. Preach. Damn. Yeah, this is my favorite political/economic speaker right now. Yeah. I can relate to a lot of what he says. Yeah, I really love his content. But yeah, who's going to gain from this? Like, who's gaining here? The people never gain. It's always the corporations. Same billionaires.
As of March 29th, Brent crude oil prices have spiked up to $115. And U.S. oil has reached up to $103 per barrel as the futures market officially opened. And this most recent spike may be coming from the potential for a ground invasion from US troops in Iran. Now, just so you're aware, Brent crude is a specific measure for oil, and it's used as a pricing benchmark for Europe, Africa, and Middle East exports. You can look at it as the global seaborne oil market, or the international price of oil. And then you have the West Texas Intermediate, or the WTI. And this one is more for the US. It tracks US domestic oil prices. So when you're hearing these different prices for oil, just know that these are the big two barometers. Now, oil is up. The NASDAQ stock index is now in a technical correction, down more than 10% from its highs. Before the war even started, you had the World Uncertainty Index hitting the highest level ever recorded, higher than 2020, higher than September 11th, and higher than the global financial crisis. The World Uncertainty Index, by the way, is an indicator that measures how much uncertainty is discussed in a country's reports by counting the frequency of the word uncertainty and variants of it in what are called country reports that are published by the Economist Intelligence Unit. The more the word uncertainty and derivatives of it is mentioned in these country reports, the higher the country's uncertainty index. Now, this is worth noting in my eyes because this index broke out to the highs back in Q3 of 2025, which was before this kinetic war actually even started. So it almost served as a leading indicator. And if you pay close enough attention, the same way that the World Uncertainty Index broke out, gold also followed a very similar pattern, where gold was surging to historic highs, potentially also front-running, right, this situation that we're seeing now. I remember at the time there being a lot of people talking about how gold had never had this kind of a run in a time of peace, potentially indicating what was to come here. But let's get back to this idea of short-term pain.
Yo, like this is like several gems in this one video. I don't know if you trade like forex or whatnot. Yeah, but this uncertainty index is really interesting. It's literally a buy for metals. But then the issue is like, does it lead or lag the spike in prices? Yeah, it's very difficult. Most times before you see this news or you see these things, the market already moved. Everything's already priced in, so you're going to be buying at a high. It is what it is. Wow, I do think this war is going to cascade. Like I don't think it's going to, just like everything the US touches, I don't think it's going to go away anytime soon. My only fear right now is the threat of a nuclear strike. The US and its hosts and its enablers and its, I don't know, henchmen are notorious for making rash decisions. And they're very self-righteous in their decisions, and the media is going to back them regardless. And most people in every part of the world are kind of brainwashed, or I don't know, are they brainwashed, or I don't know what it is, but they're kind of in this illusion of, they always bend to whatever narrative is being painted to them. So yeah, that's my only fear. If there's a nuclear strike and the chain reactions that come out from that, yeah, I think if the US put troops on ground, yeah, I don't think there's going to be a nuclear strike anyways. But the reason I'm afraid for a nuclear strike is because they keep peddling this word, nuclear capabilities. They keep talking about the nuclear capabilities of Iran. That's what makes me feel like they're going to paint a whole narrative and say, oh, a nuclear strike is justified, right? There's always an excuse to use nukes, Yeah, that's my only fear. But I'm really looking at this. I used to trade forex in the past, but that's something I've dropped because it's kind of a little bit close to gambling. You never get the right news at the right time. You use technical analysis and basically you're trading blind. So anyways, let me just shut up and enjoy this lovely video.
For a long-term gain. Sounds nice, but long-term yields are rising. You've got the 30-year in the United States continuing to tick up, meaning that investors are essentially selling these long-term bonds. When demand for these bonds drops and the supply stays the same.
I know he's never gonna see this video. Maybe he'll see it. I don't know, but like, do you trade? Like, do you actually trade? Like, and what kind of trader are you? Like, he looks like the long-term trader, like the guy, the buy and hold kind of guy, since he follows the news extensively. Well, you never know. I could be surprised. It could be a day trader. Anyways, I'm really thinking about it, in my pastime, have some spare change. I don't mind losing. Might as well just try to trade it and get back to my trading ways. I don't know. Anyways,
The yield on these bonds is going to go up. It's an indication that investors are demanding a higher return for holding U.S. debt, which also, by the way, just hit $39 trillion. And there's been a report from Fortune talking about how the U.S. Treasury is actually insolvent. Some of the speculation that's been going on around what's happening in the situation here is that the White House might not really be willing to tolerate higher yields on their bonds, right? I mean, a collapse of the U.S. bond market would be catastrophic, right? Last week, for instance, as things started to get a little bit shaky, we saw the U.S. president come out and postpone his actions that he had promised that he would take on Iran within 48 hours. And this alleviated some of the pain that the market was heading for, right? We saw reports, by the way, at that time of some suspicious trading that happened right before this announcement, but no formal investigations have been launched. Not from what I've seen. Now, funny enough, the Iranian Speaker of the Parliament has pretty much called this out last week. He said, hey, this right here that you're talking about, there's a drone above me. I'm like, hold on, wait a minute.
Wait a minute, you're gonna get striked.
The Speaker of the Parliament in Iran was talking about how,
Yo, the drone is like tracking him. It's like, yeah, target locked. This mofo has said enough. Let's strike him.
I don't really like that, honestly. Last week, the Iranian Speaker of the Parliament called this out in real time. He was like, anything that he's saying is actually just to manipulate markets. And then today, or on March 29th, he actually has pointed this out again. He said, quote, heads up, pre-market so-called news or truth is often just a setup for profit taking, basically a reverse indicator. Do the opposite. If they pump it, short it. If they dump it, go long. See something tomorrow, you know the drill, end quote. So he's letting people know what's going on. And in fact, Citrini Research, who we were covering not so long ago, said that this is their quant. Now, there are reports that have been coming out that there are over 50,000 U.S. troops in the Middle East, and that the Pentagon has actually prepared for a months-long ground operation in Iran. I am not a financial advisor. None of this is financial advice, and I highly recommend that you do not take financial advice from a random guy walking around a park talking to a stick. The Speaker of the Iranian Parliament, Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf, has said what I actually said last week when we saw the announcement from the US president. To me, this was a perfect opportunity to get on side with what I truly thought was coming next. And I was communicating my exact moves with the macro analyst tier channel members back then. What I did was I did the logical thing, which to me, once again today, was to take this opportunity of a rise in the market to get short. And here we are now with the technical.
Oh, now he answered my question. He actually does trade. I knew he trades because like he's showing like trading view on Star. Oh, he's a swinger.
Correction in the NASDAQ. But listen, if we don't get any massive changes to the trajectory of this situation, I will not be surprised by higher oil, right? Remember that Iran's goal is $200 per barrel. Macquarie Group, one of the world's largest infrastructure asset managers, put out a report saying that, quote, a prolonged conflict could send oil prices skyrocketing past $200 USD per barrel. And they added also that would translate to a price of around $7 per gallon of gas. Now, I'm also expecting the equities market to begin to truly feel some of the pain here after moving sideways and acting like nothing has happened over the past month. But I don't know, maybe I've completely lost the plot here. What did I miss? What did I get wrong? Or how could I be looking at this differently? Let me know in the comments down below. If you want to stay up to date with what I'm doing about all of this as this information continues to come out, be sure to join my channel memberships, macro analyst tier members, get exclusive access to videos, as well as our private Discord and my weekly live streams that I do on Sunday, where I do a preview of what I'm seeing coming next in the markets. If you haven't already, you got to subscribe to my live show that I do with Ben Levitt. It's called Memes and Markets. We go live every Tuesday and Thursday at 12 p.m. Eastern, and we talk about things like this and much more. You can catch us live and engage with us in the chat.
Ooh, this is an interesting shit. Ooh, I might get back to my old ways, my trading ways, market watching ways. Damn, bro. Just that my ideologies are, you know, I'm a socialist and Pan-Africanist, and you know, I know money is not real. I know a lot of things that just hold me back because I'm like, yeah, what am I doing this for? But at the end of the day, you have to survive in a system, and you need to be free in the system. Like, I'm tired of clocking into a job. Might as well go back to my old ways, and hopefully I don't need to clock into a job. I can build my own special utopia. yeah, I think, yeah, watching these guys is putting me back in my old ways.
Over there. We have some really cool guests coming up, so you don't want to miss that. Click that link in the description and subscribe. We also had somebody comment the other day and say, Keith, you need to tell people a little bit better about what's going on over here because this is awesome. So from their mouth, definitely click that link in the description, subscribe to Memes and Markets. I'm Keith D.
Oh, that was a good one. I really enjoyed this video. It literally just breezed by. For some reason, my waist kind of stiff. Like, damn, bro. Like, what am I finding it difficult to stand? Anyways, that was it for this video. I'm going to do more economic and political content. And yeah, I'm going to maybe watch more videos that are more opinionated. Yeah. I'm going to watch more opinionated videos and kind of jarring videos, and I'm going to give my unique insights, my unique view on things. Yeah, this one is a little bit more tame, more nice and stuff, but it is what it is. Yeah, subscribe if you haven't. I'm going to react a lot these days. So yeah, take care.